Good morning. It is a very, very wonderful morning that we are back on your screens this Saturday discussing nothing but the best of Zambian football as well as European football. And it's been a very, very rough week where we experienced the death and the final putting to rest of the fourth Republican President, His Excellency Rupia Banda, who was put to rest yesterday. And may his soul rest in peace. And to the bereaved family, we would like to convey our heartfelt condolences from Kamne TV, off the pitch crew, that we wish the family all the best and God's guidance during this trying moment. And this morning, we are back on your screens discussing nothing but the best of Zambian football as well as the European side of things. And this morning, I've got a very, very special guest who's joined me. And I would like to welcome Jeff. Jeff, good morning and welcome to the show today.
Thank you very much. Good morning, and it's really good to be on this lovely, TV station. I always watch Off the Pitch, and it's good that I'm now here making my debut.
No, thank you so much for making time, Jeff. And I think getting ready for this morning, let's begin by looking at the ABSA games that happened last weekend. Shocking results. Anything that surprised you? We had Nkana Football Club facing Lumwana Radiance, beating Lumwana in the penalty shootouts. Experience worked against Lumwana Radiance?
I think Lumwana Radiance versus Nkana, that was a game that was so tense. I never expected that game to be that interesting because obviously a lot of people were fancying Nkana to win the game. But well, Lumwana Radiance had no respect for Nkana and they went in punch for punch. You could see that they really wanted, this ABSA title. But Nkana used experience in that game. You could see they came from behind, equalized, and on the penalty shootouts, you could see how they were taking penalties, and obviously you can tell that there was experience in that. Another shocking result was Green Buffaloes versus Napsa Stars. Napsa Stars, despite not being consistent in the league, but well, where cup games are concerned, I think they're a serious team. And looking at the way they played against Green Buffaloes. I watched some of the trainings before they went to play on ABSA Cup. I think they had the problem in preparations. I think they underrated NAPSA very much and they thought they were going to win the game just in the 90 minutes. They were not preparing for penalties. I watched them, when you're playing a cup game, you always prepare your players for penalties. But I think it wasn't the case with Green Buffaloes. That's why when penalty shootout came, you could see, players were not ready to take penalties because they hadn't been, practicing.
Their hopes were if you're finishing the match in
which didn't happen. So that was a shocking result, and obviously I hope Green Buffaloes can forget about that ABSA Cup and focus on the league because they haven't been doing fine in the league. They started very well, but looking at the way they are playing, not so good. And they're out of top 4, despite just points, separating them. I think 3 points separating them from the top 4 slot. But I think they are just dropping. They're on top. They are dropping down. They are now on 5th position. So they need to focus on that. That was another shocking result in the ABSA Cup.
Green Eagles. They dispatching Zesco United in a very, very interesting encounter which ended 2-0 at full time, and we're going into penalties and grinding that result. I think Green Eagles, I think for me, they've had an upper hand over Zesco United for a couple of moments now.
Green Eagles has always been a problem to Zesco United. And they just proved that in the ABSA Cup, beating Zesco United, that a lot of people fans to be the favorites of that tournament. But they are booted out by a trauma outfit to Green Eagles, Tonka Twende. I think they have that zeal and the momentum. So they are taking each game very serious, be it in the, cup tournament or in the league. despite beating Zesco United, they've really won a couple of games in the MTN Fast Super League, and going into this game, a lot of people thought maybe Zesco United will break that tie of always dropping points against Green Eagles, but Green Eagles has proved to be the best where that fixture is concerned.
Red Arrows Football Club dispatching the police, Zambia Service in Nkwazi Football Club. I didn't expect that result, if you ask me, Jeff. I was watching that game and I'm like, oh, this is going to be a very, very critical encounter for me and a very, very interesting encounter. But alas, Red Arrows emerged very, very victorious and showed the whole country their intent to actually win the league title this season by dispatching Zambia Police sponsored side Nkwazi Football Club by an unbelievable scoreline. High-flying
Nkwazi, obviously, no matter how an eagle fly, a plane will always be on top of it. So that's just what happened with Red Arrows. They've been in fine form this season. They've won a lot of games. You can see even when they are playing that they are fighting for something. They are coming from behind to collect maximum points. They are fighting for a point where you don't expect them to pick a point. So Nkwazi Football Club, even when they were going into that fixture, I personally fancied Red Arrows to carry the day because they are in fine form, and they did just that. So Red Arrows, even the way they are playing in the league, obviously you will see even today probably they'll collect maximum points even without their key players like Benedict Shepeshi and Kalumba, who's with the national team. They'll still, as well as Prosper Chiluya, they'll still pick maximum points. That's the momentum. You can see them changing the team nearly every week. They've got players on the bench, good players on the bench. They've got players on the pitch, all that are putting in a much effort, and there is that oneness in the team. You can see the way they are fighting. They are defending as a team, attacking as a team. This obviously tells you that there's no division of any kind in the team, and they are aiming for one point, which is winning the league. And also in the Absa Cup, you can fancy them winning this title because obviously Red Arrows have never won this cup, and they would want to be victors of this Absa tournament.
To our dear viewers who are just tuned in, welcome to Off the Pitch, the show that brings you nothing but the best of Zambian football. And now the Absa semi-finals are set. Napsa Stars will be taking on Nkana Football Club. Green Eagles will be facing Red Arrows in that semi-final fixture that is slated for Koloma Stadium on the 2nd of April 2022. And we will be there to cover those games, and we will take a very, very short break, and on the other side of the break we will discuss last night's game where Iraq hosted Zambia, as well as we'll be moving on to the Eden National Division 1 League, which is heading into a very, very top fight for the race for the top 4, and we will also look at the Zambian Super League and the European side of things. We'll take a very, very short break and we'll be right back.
On Monday, 21st March 2022, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba at 20:45 hours with his guest, Professor Munkumba.
Youth empowerment and inclusive development. In Zambia, we have at least 9 million youths, of which 2 million are excluded, and they need to be included in the affairs of the nation. The subject of youth empowerment and youths themselves, they are both an asset if well harnessed, but can be a time bomb, and a difficult time bomb to diffuse if not properly handled in a proactive manner.
Don't let this moment pass you by. Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp, and text messages. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Kalu Kalu, all the way from South Africa. You are watching Camnet Channel, not just another channel. God bless you. Stay tuned.
We celebrate for all you've done. Lord, we give you all the praise. Oh, we testify. We celebrate. Lord, we give you all the praise.
Camnet TV is becoming big and better. You can now watch Camnet TV wherever you are around the world, simply by downloading the Camnet TV app. With Camnet TV app, you only use less bundles. Camnet TV, not just another channel. On Monday, 21st March 2022, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba at 20:45 hours with his guest, Professor Munkumba.
Youth empowerment and inclusive development. In Zambia, we have at least 9 million youths, of which 2 million are excluded, and they need to be included in the affairs of the nation. The subject of youth empowerment and youths themselves, they are both an asset if well harnessed, but can be a time bomb, and a difficult time bomb to diffuse if not properly handled in a proactive manner.
Don't let this moment pass you by. Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
A very, very lovely morning once again, and welcome back to the show that gives you nothing but the best of the local content of football, and as well as, of course, we look at the European side of things. And this morning, once again, I would like to welcome one who has now become our family member, who couldn't make it earlier on time, and now he's with us this morning. And Julius, welcome to the show this morning.
Thank you very much, Robson, for having me this morning. It's good to be here. You actually missed the show last week, but it's good to have you. And it's good to be here. Looking forward to having a fruitful discussion. Yeah,
okay, gentlemen. Ayosa's first international friendly game happened last night, where Iraqi was hosting the Zambia national soccer team. I looked at the lineup very, very quickly. Let me go through the lineup. We had Charles Kalumba in goals, Shemi Maembe, Dominic Chanda, Benedict Chepeshi, completing that defense with Solomon Sakala, Prince Mumba, Miguel Chaiwa, Spencer Sautu, Joshua Mtale, Albert Kangwanda, and Derek Ulaya as the starting 11. We lost that match by 3-1. Ayosa's first international friendly. What's your take? Did you have a close look at the game?
Yeah, I watched that. I watched, I think, the first 20 or 30 minutes. I think Iraq took this friendly very serious as compared to the way we took it.
They had a full-strength squad.
Yes.
Full-strength squad.
They called all their best players, and you could see how the stadium was fully packed. So this is how serious they took this game. But for us, Zambia, I think we just took it as part of it because we expected to play South Africa, and we probably would have taken that.
There were more selfies than soccer.
You see, there are more selfies than soccer, as you are putting it. So I think this is a lesson we need to be taking friendlies very serious, and any game, despite looking at or underrating a team that we're playing. Iraq is one of the good teams that we have in the world, despite the happenings in their country. But then they've really paid attention to football. Looking at the lineup that the coach started, I think we can't judge him because this is his first international game, and we need to give him time probably to see how best he can play without international players. Local players, and looking at the starting lineup that he made, I think Benedict Chepeshi, those are the regulars at the national team. They always start the game at national level. So we can't talk much about experience because a lot of players that were in that game have played at international level. Spencer Sautu, kudos to
Prince Mumba,
Miguel.
those have been there.
You see,
My man of the match in that
Miguel
game for me,
Chayo, I
performed
think
very well,
is coming up very well, and I can see if we nurture that talent very well, we're going to have a strong, holding midfielder in the national team setup. He's very good. You can see his positioning in the team, the way he was tackling, winning aerial balls. I think he's got everything it takes to be in the national team, and for me, he was man of the match because making his debut and on international level, but he displayed his game very well. I think it was a fair game. Let's not look at the result. Let's look at lessons that we can learn from that particular game and see how best we can work on those mistakes. We played without our usual international players, but well, we don't really need to depend on them because one day the club will say we're not releasing them. How are you going to cope without those players? So we need to work with players that are there. And looking at the talent that we had, I think we had players that were up to task, and it was a good game.
Julius.
Well,
debutants. We had a couple of debutants in that game, and I think the international exposure has given them a lesson or two. And we saw Budo starting that game. Joshua Mtale. And
like my colleague here has said, maybe I would just want to quickly differ with him a little bit, where he says it's too early to maybe condemn the coach. We need to give him time. For me, even last week on the show, Rapson had said this, that this guy, Aljosa, has been given time. He hasn't come in the country now. He's had time. We that are privileged to be at the stadium, we do see him come at the stadium. Obviously, he's had time to pick the players. For me, I already had a problem with the team that he selected. Already they had a training game on the Copa Belt in Nkana, at Nkana Stadium, and they played the All-Stars versus the rest. The rest team played better than the All-Stars team. But then look at the team that he picked going to Iraq.
Okay, on a different front, when you give me a view that his team selection was not on point, because every soccer fan has an opinion of which players they think they should be able to be in the team. So from the players that he selected, do you have any specific players that you personally think should have made the squad and not the ones that he picked?
Especially for the striking department.
Which players?
Yes, that's I want to come to that.
Sure.
Especially for the striking department, the likes of Ricky Banda. Ricky Banda has got 11 goals to his name, in as far as the Super League is concerned, Rapson. There's no way that you can pick Bazo. I don't know how many goals he has. I'm not hating on the kind of fans, but let's be realistic. How would you call Bazo? Man, that hasn't. All right, he's been helpful at Nkana, but for me, leaving out Ricky Banda was just a wrong move for the coach. I was against the move where Albert Kangwana was left, but he was included in later on. That was a good move. So for me, the players that I really wanted to see in the striking department, Rapson, was Ricky Banda and Albert Kangwana, of which Albert Kangwana was part of the game yesterday. Actually, it was because of his set piece that guy did the own goal. But then quickly also, just my quick comment on the game yesterday. Obviously, like my colleague here said, we're playing a better side. Those guys have got experience in as far as even they've been to the World Cup before. Our team hasn't been to the World Cup, and they took the game seriously. And I think we didn't really take it seriously. But then looking at the way the boys played, they did play a good game. The passing game was good. Prince Mumba was good. Miguel also was good. So I think we do have a few things that we can pick up. Focus should be now on playing Angola and Guinea in Portugal and France, and hoping that the coach has learned his lessons and he'll be able to make a few corrections to the mistakes that were made in the game yesterday.
Shifting our focus from the Zambia national soccer team friendly, Zambia lost last night. For those of you who didn't get to have a chance to watch that game, Iraq beat Zambia by 3-1, and we will now shift our attention to the Eden National Division 1 League, which is getting hot by the day. And this morning, I'm joined by Jeff. Most of you viewers know him as a mighty Mufulira Wanderers die-hard fan and a soccer blogger. And Jeff, this afternoon, we have a double-header at Woodland Stadium, another tight encounter at Police College. Let's begin by discussing Police College hosting Maite Mufulira Wanderers, Maite Iwine Chunguro. Their chances of qualifying to the Zambian Super League are becoming brighter and brighter each day. What is your take about this afternoon's game?
Well, interesting fixtures that we have this afternoon. And Eden National League is getting competitive every week. You can ask me, because even the team that is on top, which is FC Musa, is not safe, and they can't even say they win the league because it's that tight. Even at the bottom, it's very tight. You look at teams like Zesco Malaiti, a team that was just in the relegation, but they've enjoyed the form. They've picked up a bit of maximum points. But talking about Mufulira Wanderers versus Police College, Mufulira Wanderers is playing against Police College, which is occupying the 18th position on the Eden National League log table. But this should be the most difficult game for Mufulira Wanderers, because it's always difficult playing a team that is just on the bottom. And if you look at them, they still have hopes of surviving. So they'll take this game seriously, and they'll need to collect maximum points. But on the other side, Mufulira Wanderers, look at their form. They've been in fine form. Out of 6 games, they've managed to win 5 games. They only lost 1 game to Nchanga Rangers, which is a better side if you look at the way they are playing in Nchanga Rangers. So Mufulira Wanderers are enjoying their form. They are able to pick up maximum points.
Where will your heart be this afternoon? I know where I'm coming from and why I'm asking this question, Jeff. On the right-hand side, you have Mighty Mufulira Wanderers. On the left-hand side, you are with Police College. Both teams are at the middle of your heart, and it's a tense afternoon, this particular game. Where will your game be?
It's really a tense afternoon for me, and I can't even imagine how it will be at the stadium. But well, if I had options to just stay home and just maybe hear results, I would be better like that. But well, it has been tested here, and obviously I can't say where I am, because I think my heart is with both teams. I want Police College to survive. This is a team that has been...
you want Police College to survive as well as Mighty Mufulira Wanderers making into the Super League.
I'm coming to that. I want Police College to survive. I really want them to survive, because this is a team that you never hear them struggling in terms of traveling and all that. We've seen teams failing to travel. Kitwe United lost at home. They failed to travel from the camp house to the stadium. Musa won a game walkover in Kitwe, not in Mazabuka, in Kitwe. So you could see how other teams are struggling. But for Police College, this is a team that has been financially stable. And they've been in the National League. They've been, a very good team in the National League. I would want to have them in the National League even next season. So I want them to win games so that they can survive, you see. But on the other hand, Mighty Mufulira Wanderers, another team that is really needed in the MTN 5 Super League. If you look at the teams that are playing in the MTN Super League, with all due respect, I think they are not as good as Mufulira Wanderers, Nchanga Rangers and NAPSA. So these are teams that I would want to see in the MTN 5 Super League, and the league will be competitive like that. Look, you miss going to Shinde, you miss Mkana playing Mufulira Wanderers, you miss seeing Zesco United playing Mufulira Wanderers. So would want Mufulira Wanderers to get back in the MTN 5 Super League. And trust me, they are coming back, because they are in fine form, and it doesn't matter where they are playing from, they are collecting maximum points. They managed to collect maximum points.
Very quickly in this game, Julius. I know Jeff will not stop talking about Mufulira Wanderers.
Yeah, as I come in very quickly, I would just, maybe let's allow Jeff to just quickly, within seconds, tell us when last Mufulira Wanderers played in the Super League.
They last played in the Super League in 2019-2020 season, which was
also, that's exactly what I wanted. 2019, that's like how many years? 22, that's like 2 or 3 years missing out on the Super League. So obviously, if there's a team that's so much desperate to play in the Super League is concerned, it's Mufulira Wanderers and Brave Nchanga Rangers. When I was coming here, Rapson, I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, there's Jeff. And then there's one of the Brave Nchanga Rangers supporters we do have at the stadium. Yes. These two guys have got so much confidence in their team. Even when their team is not playing very well, man, they still believe that their team is able to bounce back. Of which, I think like Jayfa said, Nchanga Rangers and Mufulira Wanderers have been in best form. I was one of the people, Rapson, when the league just started, I was saying, it's going to be easier for teams like NAPSA Stars and Lumwana Rangers to bounce back to the Super League. But for now, I think I've changed my statement. Looking at the form of the teams, there's been so much competition. If teams have now come to good form, if Coach Perry Mutapa does not play his tactics right, trust me, he might just stay in the in the Eden National League and might not bounce back to the Super League. But quickly before you come in, Rapson, I'm looking forward to seeing Mighty Mufulira Wanderers and Brave Nchanga Rangers come back to the Super League. Like Jeff said, I miss going to Shinde Stadium, and obviously most of those fans do miss, because we have a lot of fans, especially the senior citizens, that support Mighty Mufulira Wanderers, and they are bored when they come to stadium because their team is not able to play in the Super League. So looking forward to, and I know that in that game, Mighty Mufulira Wanderers will collect maximum points.
I had a very, very good morning this morning when I had a conversation with one coach Perry Mtapa. Napsa Stars is hosting Jumulo in a double header at Woodland Stadium this afternoon. The second game will be City of Lusaka hosting Nchanga Rangers. Two big teams, Nchanga Rangers and Mighty Mufulira Wanderers, in Lusaka, in one city, on one afternoon. Surely these fixtures should have been arranged slightly proper, because we are the same people that watch these games, and to miss one of them will be very, very catastrophic to me, if you ask me. I will be at Woodland Stadium to watch the double header. Let's quickly look at Napsa Stars. They've been league leaders for a bit, and in the last few weeks we've seen them slide down to 4th position, owing to the great performance of Nchanga Rangers Football Club, who are now occupying 3rd slot on the log. Very quickly, Napsa Stars hosting Jumulo.
I think what's killing Napsa Stars is inconsistency. I think they've been inconsistency, and this is a problem that they've always had. Even in the MTN Super League, when they were playing there, you could see them. They were going up, they got down. They lacked that consistency. Look at where they are. They are on top. They are on position 4. They are on top, and we thought Napsa Stars would maintain just like that. But then they are just dropping, and they might just drop and go behind the Mufulira Wanderers. Not forgetting Green Eagles, because we are concentrating so much on Mufulira Wanderers. We are forgetting Young Green Eagles. Young Green Eagles also are in contention. That's how I was saying any team in the top 8 can find itself in the top 4. This is how competitive this Eden League is. Jumulo, Napsa Stars are playing Jumulo, and look at where they are. They've got 40 points. They've got 40 points. Yes, they've got 40 points, Jumulo. Not an easy game for them, because probably they'll be looking at the name that we are playing Jumulo, and it will be an easy game. It won't be an easy game for Napsa Stars, because Jumulo also are pushing, and they have the chance of going in the top 4. The only team that I can say they are safe is Lumwana Radiants. Look at where they are. They have the game in hand, meaning they can find themselves on top. 2 games in hand. They can find themselves on top with, probably 3 points safe than FC Muza. But for Napsa Stars, it's a tricky one, and it's a tricky encounter, and I see them dropping points this afternoon at Woodland Stadium. Look at the way they played against Nchanga. We watched that game, you and me. We all thought they were going to beat Nchanga Rangers because they were 2-0 up, but Nchanga Rangers came from behind to equalize and even, find a winning goal in the 93rd minute. Yeah. Which obviously shows how serious a team is that is looking for points, which is in Nchanga Rangers, and it shows how disturbed the other team is in Napsa Stars. Coach Perry Mtapa made some changes which I feel disappointed him, because when those changes, the likes of Jimmy Mukea went in, Napsa Stars were leading 2-1. They found the game 2-1. What they needed was just to hold back, because the game was going towards the end. But they went up and opened up the game, which gave advantage to Nchanga Rangers. They played very good football. They equalized and they won the game. So Napsa Stars, they are lacking that zeal. They are lacking, the consistency. They are lacking self-motivation. They've got no sense of urgency. So to me, I feel even this afternoon they can drop points.
Julius, Napsa Stars hosting Jumulo this afternoon after dispatching GBFC in the Absa Cup. What's your view about this afternoon's game?
I must say that from the time that Napsa Stars was relegated to the Eden National League, Rapson and Jeff, I haven't had time to watch them at the Woodland Stadium. But in the first leg, they had started very well, but coming in the second leg, man, I think inconsistency is a better term to use. We haven't seen much from one of the best tacticians that we have in the land, that's Coach Perry Mutapa. Coming in this game, like I always say, Rapson, teams that are trying to be in the top 4, or rather trying to be promoted, are very tough teams, because they also want to try and push and be able to be promoted to the Super League. That's the like of Jumulo FC. Look at the position where they are. Look at the points that they have. I think they're on 40 points. If they win, they move to 43 points, and if they win the next game also, they move to 46 points, of which they can find themselves in the top 4. Obviously, they're looking forward to that.
Everybody fights to get into that top.
Yeah,
four.
but coming in this game, obviously, Napsa Stars obviously coming in from Absa Cup. They've qualified the semi-finals. They hit the Nyanta boys in that repeat of the 2017 or 2018 quarterfinals. But then, I still didn't. I wasn't really impressed with the way they played their game. So really, if they don't play their card right today, they might just lose to Jumulo FC. Or they might draw, but I don't see them collecting maximum points. I'm sorry, Coach Perry Mutepa, but I don't see them collecting.
All the best to Napsa Stars, the team that is always giving us surprises by dispatching GBFC, a Premier League side that should have been the log leaders by now. And now, this afternoon, I'll be very privileged to watch that particular game and that encounter at Woodland Stadium. The second game in that stadium will be City of Lusaka hosting Changa Rangers. I have a very, very soft spot for one angel. One striker who left City of Lusaka and went and joined Changa Rangers. And Changa Rangers is pushing for that promotion back into the Zambian Super League after many, many, many moons in the National Division 1 League. How would you look at that encounter, gentlemen?
First of all, I think Angel Oluwamba has been in very fine form. I'll give you a brief history of him. I think he was playing with Mufulira Blackpool, then he joined the Mufulira Wanderers. Whenever he's meeting his former club, he always scores. That's just him. Mufulira Wanderers played Blackpool, he scored because he was signed by Mufulira Wanderers. He came to City of Lusaka, Mufulira Wanderers played against City of Lusaka.
He scored against Mufulira Wanderers.
City of Lusaka now is playing in Changa Rangers, and look at his form. He's been in fine form with obviously the support of Saidi, who's also in fine form. Changa Rangers have got strikers that are doing very fine. Strikers that, even their body posture, you can tell that, this one is a striker. Angel Oluwamba playing against his former team. This is a team that he knows better because I think he's played a couple of games with them as compared to other teams, even in Flanders, because he only spent one season at Flanders. Where he bank goes, he's a complete striker and he's been in fine form. So going into this fixture, he'll be looking forward to extend his goal tally. And look at, he's played only 5 games. He's got about 4 goals, if I'm not mistaken. So going into this game, he will obviously be looking forward to score against his former team. But all in all, the game in itself, I think it won't be an easy encounter. Look at the way City are playing. They've picked up pieces and they went back to the drawing board, and I think it's working for them because we've seen them picking maximum points even when they're on the road. They travel to Livingstone. Playing against the Livingstone Pirates at Maramba Stadium is not always an easy game, but for a team like City of Lusaka to go there and pick maximum points, that tells you that they are not a pushover. And this game is one of the biggest games. One of the biggest games that we have in the National League, because City of Lusaka look at the experience, and Changa Rangers look at the experience. So now them playing, trust me, you people who watch that game, you will think you're watching MTN Fast Super League.
It was actually better than
it won't be an easy
Robson and Jay, I don't know if you, James, remember Evans Cherry?
Yes.
That was my all-time favorite goalkeeper. Because of him, I loved Kaffir Changa Rangers. Of course, I don't support Changa Rangers, but because of him, I loved Changa Rangers. I've always had a soft spot for Changa Rangers. Yeah, quite alright. Us being in Lusaka, obviously, we're supposed to support City of Lusaka to give support to the team in our city. But obviously, looking at the fine form of Changa Rangers, the last five games has been just super. Has been good for them. They've been producing those results. They've been producing those brilliant goals. Look at the game that they played at Napsa Stars at Woodland Stadium. They came from down, Robson, to beat one of the best tacticians we have in the land, Coach Perry Mutepa. So for me, I don't see them dropping points all the way from Chingola, Jeff. For me, I don't see them dropping points. Obviously, they've come to Lusaka to collect the maximum point at Woodland Stadium.
Very quickly, league leaders FC Muza are away to Luapula Green Eagles, and I think their last 2 games have been a little bit of a disappointment. They've drawn their last 2 games. They should have been on 56 points by now. Now they are probably title pretenders. 27 games, 50 points, drawn their last 2 games. They are now away in Mansa, being hosted by Luapula Green Eagles. Are they going to maintain their stay at the top when you look at the fixtures of this weekend?
You know, if you look at the fixtures of this weekend, I think they don't have to take any chances, because any slight mistake, they'll find themselves on the second position, because Lumwana is just there with 3 points difference, and they are better on goal difference. So I think the FC Muza will take this game very serious. You see, Coach De Sousa has been very, consistent with FC Muza. They've been picking up maximum points. But if you look at the last 3 games, they haven't been doing fine. But going into this game in Manza at Kaole Stadium, young Luapula Green Eagles, they failed to pick maximum points when they are away. But out of the points that they have, most of the points have been picked at home at Kaole Stadium. So it won't be an easy game for FC Muza, but I don't see Muza dropping points. If things goes well for Luapula Green Eagles, I think they'll pick a point and it'll be...
The rest of the fixtures this weekend in the Eden National Division 1, we'll see Zesco Malaiti hosting Kaisa. We'll have Gomes hosting Quattro Kalumbila. We will have Kitwe United hosting Livingston Pirates. And last but not the least, it is Luapula Green Eagles hosting the league leaders FC Muza this afternoon at Kaole Stadium. We will take a very, very short break, and on the other side, we'll come and focus on the Zambian Super League before we change our focus to the European side of things. We've got the FA Cup in England taking place this weekend. A very, very short break, and we'll be right back on the other side.
On Monday, 21st March 2022, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba at 20:45 hours with his guest, Professor Munkumba.
Youth empowerment and inclusive development. In Zambia, we have at least 9 million youths, of which 2 million are excluded, and they need to be included in the affairs of the nation. The subject of youth empowerment and youths themselves, they are both an asset if well harnessed, but can be a time bomb, and a difficult time bomb to diffuse if not properly handled in a proactive manner.
Don't let this moment pass you by. Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Camnet TV is becoming big and better. You can now watch Camnet TV wherever you are around the world, simply by downloading the Camnet TV app. With Camnet TV app, you only use less bundles. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Oh, we testify, we celebrate.
Hello, I'm Deborah Lukalu, all the way from South Africa. You are watching Camnet channel, not just another channel. God bless you. Stay
We
tuned.
testify, we celebrate. For all you've done, Lord, we give you all the praise. Oh, we testify, we celebrate. Oh, for all you've done, Lord, we give you all the praise.
Welcome back to the show that delivers nothing but the best and interesting this morning. Changa Rangers is in Lusaka, Mfuria Wanderers is in Lusaka. Shifting our focus to the Zambian Super League. Gentlemen, we have Red Arrows today hosting nothing but a resurgent Lusaka Dynamos Football Club, whose midweek game against not so sensational Zanaco Football Club ended in a very, very scoreless draw. We have the following fixtures this afternoon. Red Arrows is hosting Lusaka Dynamos at Nkoloma Stadium. We have Kansanshi Dynamos hosting Green Eagles. Cabo Warriors is hosting Power Dynamos. Chambishi is hosting Buttcon. Indeni, local derby at Trade Fair Grounds, is hosting Forest Rangers. And on Sunday in Lusaka, we'll come back to these games. Kaffir Celtics is hosting Kwazi Football Club. And the not so Nyanta boys, the losing quarter-finalists, Green Buffaloes, are hosting nothing but the biggest team in the land, Nkana Football Club, tomorrow at Edwin Imboyela Stadium. Very quickly, Lusaka Dynamos away to Red Arrows this afternoon.
Interesting game, Rabson, it's going to be. Obviously, we're talking about the log leaders, and as far as Red Arrows is concerned, they've been in good form. The only team at the upset tournament that won the game in 90
regulation
minutes.
time, yeah.
Not Vama penalty and stuff. That's the biggest team you should be talking about in the land, and not the team that will be playing tomorrow. Yeah, so for me, it's Red Arrows, that's the biggest team. Now look at their
And
form.
I'm sure Augustine is smiling, listening to you out there.
I'm sure I'll find a message on my phone to say, "Come on, Julius, I'm waiting for you for that drink. Obviously, it's going to take me out for a drink." Look at their form, Rabson. They've been good, even though their coach wasn't around. I think for the past 2 weeks had gone for his coaching license for his coaching course in Tanzania, but he's back now. They still had the assistant Kalilo Kakonje. The team has still been doing very well, collecting those maximum points. Today they face Lusaka Dynamo. It's always difficult in a local derby because these guys play in the same town and obviously they know each other. We don't usually see more goals being scored in such kind of a game. But I can assure you that today, looking at the form of Red Arrows, they are surely going to win because they're looking forward to doing a double, win the Absa Cup and also be crowned champions of MTN Super League. But of course, they're going to be without some of their key players, Rapson. They don't have Benedict Chepeshi, who was on duty with the national team. They don't have Prosper Chiluya. They don't have also their goalkeeper, Charles Kalumba. But one thing about Red Arrows, Rapson, is that they can still do, even without their key players. Trust me, today, even though they don't have Benedict Chepeshi and the goalkeeper, they still have a pool, or they still have an option of players that can still come through. They have a bigger squad. All the players in their squad can perform. All the players in their squad can score. It's different from last season when we saw most of the goals being scored or most of the assists that were being created by the veteran James Chamanga. We haven't even seen much from him this season because Coach Chisimbewe has really formed a competitive team this time around, and trust me, they're going to collect maximum points. I don't see Red Arrows losing in that game.
Jeff, when we look at Kansanshi Dynamos hosting Green Eagles, the first encounter, Green Eagles emerged victorious in Choma at Independence Stadium by beating Kansanshi Dynamos by 1-0. Today, Green Eagles is away, and everything is at stake for Green Eagles in that fight for the championship.
Kansanshi Dynamo is another team that I think have found a solution to their problems, and they've really made a couple of changes in their team, which are working for them. Look at the veteran Jess Jackson, where he's scoring almost every week, and the likes of Bruce Msakanya. The team is just doing very fine. But also on the other side, Green Eagles, obviously with the zeal of winning in that Absa Cup quarterfinal, they still have that momentum and morale going into this game. They are victors, they are winners, so they'll take this game very serious, and they know what it takes for them to win a game in Kansanshi because they won the first leg in Choma. They'll be looking forward to win the other game in Solwezi. But Kansanshi Dynamos at home, look at, they beat Zesco United, one of the best teams that we have in the land. They managed to collect maximum points. At home, I think they don't take chances and they always pick maximum points at home. They've been struggling well away games, but when they are playing at home, they always make sure that they collect maximum points. And the changes that they've made in the team have been working on their advantage, and going into this game, it won't be an easy encounter. But I see Kansanshi Dynamos winning this game.
Mr. Robson, still talking about Consortium Dynamo quickly, like Jeff is saying. This is a team that have not lost any game from the time that Boyd Mulwanda took over. So really, Green Eagles should be Changi should be strong if they have to pick maximum points. When Jesse Jackson Were was bought by the Exco, there's some supporters from Solwezi were busy calling names. They were busy blaming Exco. How do you bring us to tired legs? But look at the same tired legs that scored them goals against Zesco United. This is the same tired legs that's scoring goals for them. Now the supporters are now supporting him, say, it was a good move that you brought in Jesse Jackson Were.
Chambishi is hosting Butekon. The first leg, Butekon emerged victorious. And I think that was in the very, very early stages of the beginning of this season, where Bidcon hosted Chambishi and beat them by 2-0. And now, Chambishi is at home, very, very stubborn at home. I remember the game that I will never forget, where they hammered Nkana Football Club at home, and that day I was in a very, very devastating form. And now they are hosting nothing but a resurgent Bidcon Football Club this afternoon.
For me not to even say much in that game, maybe Jeff will have more words. It's not easy to pick max or collect maximum points, Chambeshi, because their ground is like that of a school ground. So if Bidcon is going there with high hopes of really collecting maximum points,
that game they hosted in Ghana Football Club was like swimming in a swimming pool, and they managed to win.
No, their pitch is pathetic. If they are playing from another pitch, yeah, you can collect maximum points. But if they are playing from their home ground, there are very few teams that you have to consult. Green Buffaloes is one of those teams that you have to consult and say, how did you manage to win at that pathetic pitch? So for me, it's either a draw or Bidcon is going to lose in the game.
Jeff, very quickly, Cabo Warriors is hosting nothing but the best of Power Dynamos Football Club, who I can call very inconsistent Power Dynamos Football Club. They win games, you expect them to win the following week, and they are down. We watched them come and lose to Sensational Zanaco Football Club. One of the games that I was thinking would be an easy fixture for Power Dynamos. They came and Sensational Zanaco did justice to them, and now they are away to Cabo Warriors.
Why would you give Jeff to talk about Cabo
I don't want to.
He's going to be. You won't be fair. Anyway, Jeff, it is well.
The Cabo Warriors game versus Power Dynamos. I'm specifically picked on you. Why? Because Julius is so passionate about Cabo Warriors, and I want him to be the last person to speak about this fixture.
This is an interesting fixture. I think one of the biggest game that we have this weekend. Cabo Warriors versus Power Dynamos. This fixture has always been, tense, especially that these two teams have really been exchanging players. Talk about Godfrey Ngwenya, Jimmy Njovu. There are a number of players that we can
Lawrence
Mlenga as well. So going into this game, it won't be an easy game because Power Dynamos haven't been very good where collecting maximum points in midlines is concerned, and they are playing Cabo Warriors, a team that I feel is quite doing fine, though they are just participants. They don't play for anything. You can agree with me. If we thought they were going to be in the top 4 their season, they failed. You see them, they are going to be relegated, they survive. So they are just a team that is there to participate. And I feel they've got good players, a number of players, but them without Prince Mumba, the captain, obviously that will disturb them. But on the other side also, Power Dynamos, they don't have the likes of Joshua Budomtari, who's been in fine form and obviously driving the team. A kid is just driving the team on his shoulders. It won't be an easy game, but Cabo Warriors playing at home, obviously behind their fans, I think they have an advantage.
Julius, Cabo Warriors.
Power Dynamos are in this game without Lawrence Mlenga, the goalkeeper. They have Jackson Kapunta, who's going to be in goal obviously today. Joshua Buda Mutale won't be in the game. Godfrey Ngwenya.
So you're fancying your chances.
No,
just
Godfrey Ngwenya. So
Godfrey Ngwenya at his advantages.
Godfrey Ngwenya won't be in the game, and this is Budo and Godfrey Ngwenya are the youngsters that really give a tough time to our defenders at Cabo Warriors, and I'm so happy that they're not going to be in the game. But obviously, coming back to our team, Prince Mumba is not part of our squad. Dominic Chanda also our defense. I'm a little bit worried he's not going to be part of that squad. But I think it's going to be a fair game, especially that Power Dynamos hasn't got some of their key players in the team. Also, Cabo Warriors hasn't got some of their key players in the team. So it will be important to see how the two teams will battle it out, especially that they don't have their key players in the team. It's obviously having a soft spot for Cabo Warriors. Cabo Warriors might just collect maximum points, or it's going to be a draw.
Completing the Saturday fixture, the last game of the day is Indeni hosting Forest Rangers in a local derby in Dollar Trade Fair grounds. When you look at Forest Rangers and their form and their inconsistencies, both teams, very difficult encounter for them this afternoon.
Yes, very difficult encounter, especially that they are playing a local team, a dollar-based team in India, a team that is trying to avoid relegation. But on the other hand, Forest Rangers, I think they are anxious to, winning games. You can see the way they are changing coaches. Obviously, in the just past 2 seasons, we can mention about 4 coaches who have coached Forest Rangers. This time around, they have former Cabo Warriors coach Ian Bakala, who also wants to prove his point and his way of being at Forest Rangers, I see them picking maximum points against Indian, but it won't be an easy game looking at where Indian are. And they've tested the sweetness of MTN First Super League, and they would want to avoid relegation. So it won't be an easy game. And it being a local derby, Forest Rangers need to play their cards very well.
Very quickly, tomorrow, the derby shifts. The local derby shifts from what we normally experience to a game that is going to be hosted by at Edwin Imboela Stadium, where the first game will see Kaffir Celtics. Very, very unfortunate Kaffir Celtic, if you ask me. I've watched these lads play football. They are very, very fantastic on the field of play. And now, tomorrow, they are hosting the owners of the pitch, Nkwazi Football Club, at the early kickoff at 13 hours.
By the way, Frederick Kanute, former Mali international player, is in the country. He's been taken through the boys in training.
The relegation threatened Kaffir Celtic.
Yeah, teaching them those passes and you know, just drilling the boys. Obviously, now I understand where the Flower kind of playing football from Kaffir Celtic comes from, because they do play good football in as far as playing for Flowers is concerned, but scoring becomes a little bit of a problem. They're obviously missing out on don't really about experience. But then coming to a local derby eruption is always tough. Dennis Makinka also hasn't been collecting maximum points. Unfortunately, I don't know what really the problem is. But this is a team that uses the same pitch. They use the same training ground. They know each other. But for me, I think it's going to be a draw. I don't really see a lot of goals being scored in that game.
The Nyanta boys, GBFC hosting Nkana Football Club. All roads lead to Edwin Imboela Stadium tomorrow, 15 hours.
That would be an interesting and mouth-watering match. Look at the way Green Buffaloes played at Nkana, and Nkana still has that, you know, there was a lot of talks from the soldiers and all that. Going into this game, it won't be an easy game, especially that Nkana are missing out on 4 of their key players. Obviously, we've got 3 with the national team in Bazongonga. Diamond Chikweko won't play because that's his parent club. So Nkana are missing out on their 4 key players. And talking about Diamond Chikweko has been instrumental in this team and is the captain. We've seen him scoring goals. So Nkana without all those players, I see Green Buffaloes maybe, you know, finding their you know, winning ways against Nkana. And I know you won't side with me saying Nkana will lose, but well, to Nkana fans, I think you are dropping maximum points. The one Nkana plays without, you know, their key players. You can see when they start.
But Bazo is winning at Boris College.
That's we've already passed that stage. We are talking about the Nyanta and the biggest team in the land.
Sate's form is not, you know, on top, on that top level. The Sate that we knew. I think Bazo is far much better than Sate. Despite him scoring a goal after a long time, and we saw, you know, fans lifting him, the landlord and all that. But he's going to start this game obviously. But he won't be that, you know, instrumental as compared to Bazo. So Nkana will be missing.
Bazo will be back by then.
Will be back, but obviously you won't start the game. Bazo, they are reaching today.
We are yet to see if those 4 players that Nkana Football Club has away in Iraq are on their way, and if they arrive on time, they'll be part of that squad that is going to face Green Buffalo.
But Rapton, it's also
shifting our focus in the interest of time. No, Julius.
I know you're a kind of fan, Rapton. Allow me to quickly say this.
I am not.
It's also important. As the CEO had written something to us, they wanted the game to be pushed from Saturday to Sunday, which they did. But then, like you're saying, the four players that are missing out in the squad, I feel it might not really have so much impact, because, you know, it's a flight we're talking about, and obviously they're going to be tired and fatigued.
And they've not trained with the team.
Exactly. So really, but I love
gentlemen,
Bazo for one thing.
All the 4 players will
he's
be in
good.
the squad together.
I love Bazo for one thing, because he's always entertaining the crowds, of which I look forward to being at the stadium tomorrow to see how he's going to entertain.
And he's always good both on and off the pitch. He's the fun to watch. And very, very, very quickly, gentlemen, shifting our focus to the English FA Cup, time permitting, very, very quickly, Middlesbrough is hosting Chelsea Football Club in that last 8 in the quarterfinals this afternoon. Middlesbrough hosting Chelsea. And you know what Middlesbrough has done? For them to find themselves in the last 8 of the FA Cup, this is a team that has knocked out big teams along the way. and now they first Chelsea Football Club. Very, very quickly, your views on that game.
Not to really say much due to time on our side, Robson. For me, I feel Chelsea has been in good form. The Thomas Tuchel boys are doing very well, especially in the English Premier League. But despite them having those problems of their owner having those issues and whatnot, but then in this game, for me, I'm going to have a soft spot for Chelsea.
Crystal Palace is hosting Everton tomorrow. Southampton is hosting Manchester City tomorrow. And Nottingham Forest is hosting Liverpool tomorrow in the FA Cup. The race to the semi-finals is on tomorrow. Jeff, your view about these quarterfinals?
Well, interesting fixtures that we have, and I will not talk about Liverpool because I will declare interest in that game. Let me talk about Crystal Palace versus Everton. Another interesting fixture because if you look at Crystal Palace, I think they've been in fine form. Look, this is a team that just stopped Manchester City. We know Manchester City, they are a very good team, and when they play, they always win with big margin. But they managed to hold them, and they didn't score any goal. So Crystal Palace hosting Everton, I think they have an upper hand in this particular game, and they might just find themselves into the semi-finals.
Interestingly, one Super League game in the English Premier League is Aston Villa hosting Arsenal Football Club this afternoon at 14:30 hours.
Arsenal coming in from a loss, they lost to Liverpool. I had so much hope that this time around there's going to be a positive result coming in from Mikel Arteta and the boys. But very sad that Liverpool had to use experience and they collected maximum points in that game. Looking at the form of Arsenal, they've been doing very well. The young boys are playing very well. I don't see them losing to Steven Gerrard this afternoon. They'll collect maximum points in a game.
Interesting league in Italy. Napoli is hosting Udinese this afternoon. Inter Milan is hosting Fiorentina, and Cagliari is hosting AC Milan. Why have I picked on the Italian league? It's because it's very, very interesting up there, and to see these kind of fixtures where Inter Milan is hosting Fiorentina gives me a mouth-watering afternoon in that particular league this afternoon.
Inter Milan, I think they've been, inconsistent as well in the Italian league. And going into this game, this is not an easy fixture for them because they've always had problems where this fixture is concerned, and probably this afternoon they might just find the winning streak in that particular game, and they might pick maximum points. In
no order, we are probably, like everybody says, that whatever comes up should always find its way out, and it should go down. And as we head towards the end of the show, gentlemen, very, very quickly, your predictions about this afternoon's game. We are back in the Zambian Super League. Before I ask Jeff to just give me the prediction of his game, because I'm particularly interested in seeing Police College causing damage and denting the image of Mfria Wanderers as they race to the top four. It gets very, very hot. Your predictions in those Aiden games this afternoon, gentlemen.
Well, to begin with, let me...
no explanations, no predictions.
Okay, Jumulo versus Napsa Stars, I see Jumulo winning by 2-1. And City of Lusaka versus Nchanga, I see a draw in this particular game. It might be a goal-scoring draw, but it will be a draw. Mufria Wanderers versus Police College. Well, I don't know how that game will be. Let me not put a comment on that one.
In the Super League.
Let's go to the Zambian Super League. Your quick predictions. I'll hold you accountable for those words and predictions later in the afternoon as we watch the games together, Jeff.
I won't give an accurate prediction in the Lusaka Dynamo's Arrows game because I know they're going to be goals are going to rain in that goal. But I can assure you that Red Arrows is going to win by more than 3 goals. Cabo Arrows Power Dynamo is going to be 2-1 in favor of Cabo Arrows. In Deni Forest Rangers, it being a local derby, it's going to be a draw. Chambeshi Butcon, like I said earlier, I don't see Butcon collecting maximum points, either a draw or win in favor of Chambeshi.
Jeff, your quick predictions in the Zambian Super League.
Well, Red Arrows definitely will collect maximum points against Lusaka Dynamos. Nkana versus Green Buffaloes, like I mentioned, Nkana will drop points in this particular game. It will be a win in favor of Green Buffaloes. Nkwazi versus Kaffir Celtic, this is an interesting fixture, and I see a draw in this particular fixture because it's a local derby. Shifting the focus to Kabwe, Power Dynamos versus Kabwe Warriors. I see Power Dynamos collecting maximum points in Kabwe. Ndola, we've got Chambishi versus Forest Rangers. Forest Rangers will prove themselves and collect maximum points against Indeni, and it will be a 2-0 win. In Chambishi, Butcon versus Chambishi, like my colleague has said here, it will be a win in favor of Chambishi. You know that pitch.
Very quickly, your closing remarks, Julius, as we come to the end of the show.
Thank you so much, Robson, for having me.
Under 30 seconds.
Thank you so much, Robson, for having me. On a sad note, yesterday we put into rest His Excellency Pierre Bezenban, the fourth Republican President of Zambia. This is a man that had so much passion for the Zambian team, or rather football in Zambia. Just quickly, Robson, for me, best way to mourn and give tribute to the big man Rupiah Banda. Zambia should qualify to the Africa Cup of Nations, the next Africa Cup of Nations.
Jeff,
it was great coming through, and looking forward to watching the games this weekend.
Very quickly, Jeff.
Thank you very much, Robson, for having me, and it's always good to make my debut on this interesting off-the-pitch show. I just watched it, like I mentioned in my opening remarks, and it's just always good to be here, and looking forward to make more features on this interesting show.
Well, I've been your host, Trabson Skombe, hosting you this particular morning, and with me, I had Jeff and Julius assisting me to do nothing but the best of what we do. And now we are about to sign off. And the only thing I can say is keep watching Camnet TV, because Camnet is not just another channel. See you next weekend, and all the best to all the soccer fans, and all the best of luck to the teams that are battling it out this afternoon in honor of that qualification to the top 4 in Eden, and of course, the CAF slots in the Zambian Super League. I've been your host once again, Rapson, and bye-bye for now. See you next weekend.